Hi everyone, found myself with a little bit of time, so I thought I would try and do a garden tour for you. I may just split this into two parts if I see the time getting a bit too long. So here's just a pond. I don't know how well you can see in there. It's filled with white mountain clouds and some brahmi and some taro, solar pump. That's just there for kids to enjoy the fish when I've got visitors in the unit, and just a great source of nitrogen. The monstera here, some people use this as an indoor plant, Swiss cheese plant. Its real name is actually Monstera deliciosa. Ooh, that made it sound like Harry Potter. I don't think I've pronounced that right, but the point is it's also called a fruit salad tree. So this fruit is actually edible. So come over here, as you can see, once these hexes, bit of a trip there. Once these hexes start to peel off, that's when you can eat this fruit. And to me, it has kind of a stevia type taste, like that cotton candy kind of flavour. We'll move over here, more monstera, the Banana Republic, pretty self-explanatory, dwarf Cavendish bananas. And that's a smaller bunch. Because it was a late bunch, I chopped it in half because I knew a big bunch would not have time to ripen before winter sets in. So I'm in a warm temperate area. This is including my microclimate. So the rest of the Central Coast might be a bit warmer, some might be cooler. Mulberry Boulevard. So this one here, the Morris Alba. So I don't think that this has as nice a tasting fruit as the other mulberries, but it's got a longer growing season, so it extends out your mulberry harvest, and it is great fodder for the bunnies. The Chatoot mulberry, so this is the favourite of some. It's probably my second favourite in terms of the fruit, but I really enjoy its kind of weeping, willowy habit, so it's being protected by the cage there until it's big enough to be safe from old Wallaby. Here we go, we've got another Morris Alba. And then this is the big Morris Negra, the beautiful black mulberry. And this is a monster, and it again is at a low point in the property. So this is the bottom of a little catchment area here. And that is exactly how it likes it. Another one that doesn't mind slightly wet feet and lots of nutrients. And this is only a couple years old, and you can see it's loving its life. It no longer needs a cage. I just got a bit of a tie there to keep the Wallaby will try and pull it down. Anyway, you're going to hear a little bit about Mr. Wallaby rest of the tour. But this is the wetland area. So this is a big swampy area here, which is a bit like a clay bowl, sort of down the slope of the property. So I don't know how much I can fit in the lens here, but you can see there it's all sloped, and water does tend to pool down here. So I've got lemongrass, citronella grass, ginger. There's some canna lily there, which is a great chop and drop. Here we've got Lamandra. Mother-in-law tongue is a great house plant, so I just keep it so that I can pull it up and gift it to people. A beautiful edible taro, again loves wet feet. And then this is my compost pile / worm farm / soil factory. It's pretty much everything. So all of the scraps I get from the neighbours, from myself, from the chicken coop, from everything, can all just get dumped into this pile, and eventually it will turn into beautiful compost that can go back on the garden. And I've never had to import soil into this property, so everything that you see has, except for what's in pots, everything else is coming from here. So chickens pick over it, bush turkey picks over it, worms get the remainder. Then here we've got just a bit of a beautiful wetland type setup. Our ginger ninjas, which eventually turn into arrowroot. So the arrowroot I can have here, but the turmeric I can't. For some reason the wallaby eats the turmeric and leaves the arrowroot, so it is how it is. Amazing how much of my life is governed by that fluffy faced monster. Water chestnuts and rice in this other little pond. There's a bigger pond here with brahmi, solar pump, some papyrus grass, and water celery, mint. Just something for the birds to enjoy as well. It's also just, if I take a step back a bit, it's quite a nice pretty area to just sit and relax. Then if we come around here, this is going to be the native bee area. So no native bees in there at the moment because there is a DPI bait trap down the road from me. Those of you not in New South Wales may not know that, yeah, the DPI has declared this a bee-free zone, a very large area of Newcastle on the Central Coast. So they're planned to eliminate all honeybees. Unfortunately, in order to eliminate the feral honeybee population, they've had to put out poison bait stations. So anyway, you can read more about that online, but there will be no bees here for a while, unfortunately. So a lot of extra work for me hand pollinating. There's still lovely things like the birds and butterflies and dragonflies. They are also vulnerable to the DPI poison, but because they've shorter lifespans, hopefully won't be impacted as much. Now, this is not missed. I'm trying to avoid showing you too much of my neighbour's house, but this is the work of the possum. So my beautiful plum trees have been stripped, but that is okay because I put them into tree guards until they're quite big, and at this size and this time of the season, that plum tree, I purposely don't get dwarf stalks, will recover, but it's taken a bit of a hit. I mean, it wouldn't have been pollinated this year anyway. So, anyway, more plums, apricot. Again, you can see how the tip is, so the possum, you can imagine, is starting there, he's climbing his way up, and then because he's quite fat, probably because of all of my fruit trees that he's eaten, he can't get to the little end branch there. That's how I know it's the possum and not the wallaby. So once he gets to that spot, the branch tips over and he falls to the ground with a large thud, which is very entertaining for me. So at least I get some entertainment value. Alright, I'll just go, so I'm trying to have a bit of an order to this. We've got elderflower. Mr. Possum doesn't like that, neither does Mr. Wallaby, so I get lots of elderberries, which is nice. Apple, possumed. And here we have the worm farm, black soldier larvae. When there are meat scraps, the black soldier larvae farm is quite good for that when people are staying over and eating meat. Here I've got blueberries, the apple trees, and some pepino melon. That's the water tanks. And then we'll go back here and go Lima Bean, growing along this fence here. See, there's one pod there. That grows almost most of the year, to be honest, and it's perennial. It'll keep coming back. If you can see the stalk there, there you go. Celery, that also keeps, so this is really like an annual bed that's turned into a perennial bed, except for the lettuces. So celery keeps growing back every year, sorrel grows back every year. The kale, the Egyptian walking onion, you see it's massive down here. And the beautiful perennial leeks that I got from Purple Pear Farm. You can see the onions walked its way all the way over there. Some red cabbage. I don't have a lot of time to fuss over anything really, or I should just say I'm a very low energy gardener. So even though these are annuals, they all behave like perennials, or they don't last. Tomato, more cabbage. The lettuce is the one thing I put a lot of effort into. Lettuce is my most important crop for me. because I eat it every single day and I can't stand it from the shops. There's some stevia there, pumpkin, the asparagus, lots of asparagus. This year, you can see I've harvested a whole bunch down there. The garlic, one year I put out a whole bunch of garlic cloves and obviously didn't harvest all of them. There's a limit to how much garlic I sort of process. And so now it just pops up all over the place. Some more sorrel. So there's the Hungarian Shorshka and French sorrel. Marigolds. Some pumpkins still there. Some more lima beans. My big Tromboncino vine. So I got a good crop off it at the start, and then it just started spitting out all these male flowers. I think that might be because I have a lot of nitrogen in my soil. So possible. Yep. This bed is just like a bed that I didn't fix the gate, so I haven't actually gotten into this bed. I'll get around to it, but in the meantime it's just like a seed bank. It's just got like the artichokes, the Jerusalem artichokes, the sorghum, gladioli there, nasturtium. It's just, I haven't done anything to it, it's just whatever pops up, and some beans. Hi Shirley. Hey, do you guys want to tell the audience why I have so much nitrogen in my soil? Do you got any idea how I've ended up with too much nitrogen? Is it because you're a little poop machine? Certainly could be, couldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to go with you are a little poop machine. Australorp chicken, this is another big part of my diet where a lot of my effort goes into. Certainly not my sweet angels, but the eggs. I eat eggs pretty much every day. I don't eat meat, so eggs are a very big part of my diet. Eggs, mushrooms, lettuce, they are my staple crops. You can see in between everything is just mulch. Sweet potato bed, I just did a big harvest, so this is just the slips I left in. And they'll come back and I'll get another couple kilos out of there, I am sure. Then here we'll move on to the first of the covered beds. So this here is grape. So this massive Isabella grape, only a couple years old, fruits like crazy for a table grape. And see there, it's forming a big canopy. Just dying back now. I harvested a huge amount of grapes around Christmas, which was just perfect. And then it's starting to take over the clothesline as well. And then the next layer here is the boysenberry. This is boysenberry here. Now the grape will start to lose its leaves, and then I've got a winter loofah that's going to come up and take its place as the canopy. So that works out perfectly. More boysenberries. Then down here on the ground layer, I've got, there's gonna eventually be, you can probably see some mycelium already. This is gonna turn into another King's Treforia mushroom bed. Some more boysenberry. And then right down the end, potato. So there's some hollyhock down there too, which is a good mallow alternative. And then the next covered bed, which gets about half sun now, a bit more sun in summer. Some delicious beans still growing away, and lettuce. Lots and lots of lettuce. Like I said, lettuce is one of my main crops. I don't want to eat the stuff at the shop. It tastes gross. Comes out of a plastic bag. Even, at the greengrocers, even if it's like good quality lettuce, it's just something about it being in a bag that psychologically, I don't want to eat it. So I stick with my delicious homegrown lettuce and save myself a fair bit. As well as some nasturtium and brassicas. These brassicas are just coming up now, interdotted with some marigolds. I do not net my brassicas. These fences are for the wallaby, but yeah, I don't. And possum, floppy fences. I don't net any of the brassicas because I only lose like maybe, I don't know, 20%, 10%. It's not enough for me to worry about it. Choco. I've hand pollinated my chocos and pumpkins this year. I didn't know whether the choco would win pollinate, and I didn't want to risk it because I really like having it in stews for dinner, so I didn't want to take any chances. Made sure I had some choco. Right here I've got a bit of a native lawn, and as you can see, the benefit of having a native lawn is that it produces seeds for my lovely girls to eat, and they can produce me the most delicious eggs. Yes, you can, sweetheart. The best eggs ever. The Australorp is such a beautiful chicken. She's tough, lays lots of eggs. She's just adorable, aren't you, honey? And yeah, so these native grasses, nice little native grass area where I can sit and enjoy watching the chickens, and I don't mow it. If you hear a mowing noise, it wasn't me. So we'll have a look at the girls' abode. So this is the chicken coop. There, it has to be very strong, so there's bricks buried all around, concrete slab, some rain buckets so I don't have to walk too far for their water. And yeah, I need to make this completely predator proof. There's dogs and foxes, and I just love my little girlies so much. I don't want anything to happen to them. And some figs here. It's a fruit tree the wallaby won't eat, so very easy to propagate. So I've just got some figs and some herbs underneath. Bit of lavender, have a nice smell inside of the coop. And I've got an egg there, delicious. So that's mulched, lots of different water sources. Just another little pond. And we've got a Zola here. It's nice, loquat, along with some passion fruit, banana passion fruit, and this is eventually going to provide some more shade to the girls in the summer. And I've got some dragon fruit that I'm going to try and grow up there. Ever since I saw it at Purple Pear Farm, I thought, what a great idea. And we'll go back. And yeah, just up the back here, all pruned by Wallaby. So Wallaby doesn't eat salvias, so I've got lots of salvias. I'm going to try and grow some more pawpaws, but the Wallaby has nibbled the pawpaw and the babico, so work out a solution to that. Some ice cream bean. So far the ice cream bean is being left alone, so Tamarillo also doesn't seem to like the taste of Tamarillo, so that's going to go in there. And some more pumpkin, and I might stop the video here, and maybe I should stop where it actually looks a bit nicer, and then I will start part 2.